Hey everybody, welcome back to Vlogmas. I cannot believe here we are, making our way through the week, making our way through the month. In a way, it's going fast. In another way, it is not. But one thing is for sure, we're having a blast. Mrs. Record-ology will be back tomorrow. But today, you and I are going to hang out and talk about my list for this year, 2024's top 10 best Christmas albums of all time. So not just my favorites for the current offerings, but current of all time. So this is a tall order to fill. I decided to go with 12-inch LPs instead of going with 45s, CDs, any other format. So these are all going to be 12-inch vinyl records, and we'll kind of go from there. This list has some returning favorites that's always going to, but there are definitely some curveballs in there and something really interesting I want to mention at the end. Now, before I get into this, I also want to mention that we just announced yesterday the first winner of a free turntable. So congratulations to the winner. And if you missed out on that, definitely go back, check out our Vlogmas episodes, and especially our 5-legged goat video from yesterday. You might be really surprised. We actually found a 5-legged goat. Anyhow, so today I'm just going to go in order from 10 down to 1 and kind of explain the thought process behind why I'm picking these albums. And this is a not so subtle tie-in to something I want to talk about briefly at the end of this. So this is a new to me record. This is definitely new to the list. I do something similar every year, every Christmas time, but this year I'm adding Country Christmas, Loretta Lynn, and this was something that I received as a gift. I started going down a Loretta Lynn rabbit hole, sort of an offshoot of my Patsy Cline musical exploration journey, and a good friend of mine sent me this with a number of other Loretta Lynn albums. I put it on. This is a couple of months ago that I received this, and I was delighted by it. I was very surprised. I would say that if you're a country music fan or you enjoy kind of 60s country, that you would like this. If you are not, then this is probably not something you would necessarily be interested in. But this is, I think, 67 or thereabouts. I should probably know that off the top of my head. But this is DL74817, a Decca stereo release. It is on the Decca Rainbow label. So that is number 10 this year. I did enjoy it. I think it's a pleasant listen to. It's one of those albums that you just kind of put on and have in the background versus one that you're actively seeking out a certain song on. Maybe I'll get to the point where I really recognize some of the songs and start seeking them out. But right now it's just sort of ambiently on in the background. Okay, number 9 is John Denver's Rocky Mountain Christmas. And this is a very interesting album, very 70s. This is one that you might even find at a thrift store. None of these are particularly rare or valuable monetarily, but really going for the music here. And the packaging and the overall, pressing, that always figures into it, but primarily I'm talking about the music. So let's say you wanted any of these on CD or streaming or tape or whatever, you would enjoy them, and I would enjoy them in the same order regardless of format. But it's a record show, so we're going to talk about it on vinyl. So this has the purchase price, which may be $1.50, maybe pennies on the dollar, but it is worth it because of one song and one song alone, Aspen Glow. And if you have not listened to John Denver's Aspen Glow, do yourself a favor and obtain that song, even if it's just YouTubing it. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. One of the most evocative, beautiful things. If you're not a John Denver fan, then it doesn't matter. This is a transcends, genres type of an album, unlike the previous one. There's great songs on here, the Christmas songs, Silver Bells, all kinds of cool stuff. A mix of some slight kind of pop country stuff and some standards as well. It's a gatefold record. And now that I live in Florida, these Rocky Mountain Christmas themed things definitely hit a note. Beautiful album, absolutely. A 70s RCA logo on this thing, and it's just beautiful. This is on a gold RCA label. I'm not sure if these are Dynaflex discs or not, but that is number 9 for me for this year. Aspen Glow. Check it out if you're unfamiliar with that song. Put that on at night. The Christmas tree lights in the room, if you have them, and just close your eyes. It's a journey. It's an absolute treat. So if you do that, if you haven't heard it before and you're just hearing about Aspen Glow now, and you go out and listen to it, I want to hear your comments down below. I'll pick my favorite one and pin it to this video, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on it. Okay, and next one is something that is not new per se, but it's new to me, and therefore it's new to this list. And this is a bit of a sleeper, and what I mean by that is it's something that you may gloss over. It's also something that, like I said, it's been out there for a while, and it's a new to me choice, and it's also a bit of a stretch, but I am going to put Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, the soundtrack, which is composed by Danny Elfman, who also performs the vocal duties of the lead character there. This is, obviously it's like a Halloween Christmas mashup, and it effectively works with both holidays. And if you haven't ever seen it before, if you've been avoiding it or you just missed it, in essence, it's about the king of Halloween discovers for the first time Christmas and is infatuated with it, and it's about his journey into the world of Christmas from the perspective of somebody that only knows Halloween. It's a charming, very family-friendly, but creepy in a fun way, Disney type of project. This is also gatefold. This is brand new. Just got this a couple of weeks ago for my birthday, and the artwork is top tier. The pressings are okay. So many new pressings are just, they don't trim the edges, and some of the edges on this are kind of hard and like uneven and sharp, and there's a tad bit of warpage. It just seems like new records, the quality control isn't consistent. It can be good, but oftentimes that's not necessarily the case. Also, it's a huge trend right now for new records to come out in dual disc sets, even when they don't need to. Now, there's quite a bit of music on here you can see there, but there are definitely some albums and Wicked soundtrack, I'm Looking at You, that could totally fit on a single disc. And I think that it's kind of a marketing thing to say a 2-disc set. Why get one CD when you can get both discs? And add 2 records to your collection. So that's definitely an aspect of it. So fair enough. Also, I'm totally aware of the fact that depending on how the record is mastered, that they can use more groove space for a better high quality experience. That being said, in the case of Wicked, it's still modulated, fairly narrow, but they only use like a third of each record side, so it's kind of a waste. And yes, I know that the best sounding part of the record is closest to the outside edge, but I think more than for any sort of audiophile reasoning, it's done for marketing purposes, and selling 2 discs is apparently the thing to do now. So that is going to be my next choice. What are we? This is 8. That's number 8. So we've done 10, 9, and then this is 8. Coming in at 7 is a record I featured on a recent video, and one that is I picked up for the first time a couple of years ago, A Holly Dolly Christmas. One of the viewers reminded me, I'd heard this and forgotten, that they also issued it as a limited edition 8-track tape cartridge, which is now worth hundreds of dollars. Apparently there's also a multi-disc set. This is just the I think this is like a Target or a Walmart exclusive because it's on it's a white disc instead of black. And great music here. Obviously, Dolly Parton needs no introduction or explanation, but a prolific songwriter. You may not be aware of that. And a lot of other people's famous songs were written by her. One of the best things on this record is a duet she did with Jimmy Fallon, All I Want for Christmas Is You, with Dolly Parton and Jimmy Fallon. And Jimmy Fallon has some serious chops, and he can sing, and he's funny, and it's just a great interplay. This is a single disc. white vinyl record, and it's got a really nice original inner sleeve that has lyrics, and it's a really nice presentation. This is on Butterfly Records, 12-tone music. I'm not sure. This is is this part of Warner? No, it doesn't say Warner. So this is Butterfly Records under exclusive license to 12-tone music LLC. So that appears to be a somewhat independent release, but it's great. Highly recommended music. This is a gateway record, not a gatefold, but a gateway record, meaning that you don't need to be a country fan, you don't need to be a Dolly Parton fan to enjoy this. It is just universally good. All right, where are we at? So we've got 10, 9, 8, that was 7, and now this is 6. I picked up this record during the off season. If you love Christmas music, you can get the best deals on Christmas records sometimes in June and July, and killer prices. I picked this up brand new for like $9 or $10, and because it was off season and they had left, it was probably unsold stock from the previous Christmas. But this is the soundtrack to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a Videocraft TV musical spectacular. This is obviously a Rankin Bass production. I love the Rankin Bass Christmas productions, and oh yeah, this one has that weird stain on the back. But check out this vintage Decca labeling on the back side there, including this new world of sound, a true high fidelity record here. All the lyrics and a little blurb there as well. This is on a standard issue stereo. Actually, they've got it labeled as a mono, and I'm not sure, is this stereo? Maybe this is just mono. This possibly is mono. So yeah, I guess this is a mono release. I guess for television back then, it wouldn't be as necessary for it to be stereo. Featuring the incomparable voice of Burl Ives, and just an absolute treasure. One side has the songs with words, and the other side has the score without. And just very nostalgic. If you grew up with this stuff, then these songs will be incredibly nostalgic to you. So coming up, that's number 6. Coming up is number 5. Okay, and it is the soundtrack to Elf. And most people that like Christmas and are into Christmas like Elf. I would say it's in the top 5 to 10 Christmas movies for most people. However, this album was actually designed for people that like the movie and like the music or don't. In fact, there's a note inside from the director and John Favreau. I'm probably saying that wrong. On one side, we've got lyrics and credits, and on the other side, and this isn't a sleeve, this is just an insert. And it basically says that he hopes that you enjoy this music, whether or not you are a fan of the movie or not. Perhaps you just like the music. It's a collection of Christmas standards. Louis Prima, Ella Fitzgerald, Lena Horne, Leon Redbone, Brian Setzer, Eartha Kitt, Eddie Arnold, Billy Preston. It's got a little bit of everything on here. It's just a fantastic, fantastic album of Christmas music. So this one would definitely pick it up. Don't even worry about the movie if you haven't seen it. It's on a beautiful blue pressing, and it's just a no-brainer. This one is great. Sounds good. Quality pressing, and you will definitely enjoy it. Some versions of stuff you may not have heard on here, but it's in a way it's kind of greatest hits type of material. So that is definitely making the list. And it probably has for me before, but it's back. So next up, a controversial one. Controversial, it's a meme. It's people love to talk about this individual thawing out. Does that clue you in on who this is? This is a Target exclusive, and it's probably the coolest looking record I have. It is Mariah Carey's Merry Christmas. This has become iconic, like it or not. I happen to love this album, and yes, I do listen to it whenever during the year that I feel like it. That's the way it is for all my records. I'm not a put your Christmas records away kind of a person. When I was a kid, my parents would take all of the Christmas books and probably the music too and pack it up with the decorations to make it more special and limited. We only have it during Christmas time. But I like to have access to all that stuff all year. And this is one album that I can listen to anytime. It's just really, really, really good stuff. It's got classics. It's got originals and unmistakable sound that you will recognize. Internal slip sheet here, sleeve is really cool. It is a clear record with red and green splatter. Just a beautiful, beautiful pressing. Sounds good. I don't think it's 180 gram. I'm not a huge 180 gram person. I don't really care about that. I think that that's overhyped. Definitely doesn't cut down on Warped Records, 180 gram pressings in my experience. But isn't that cool? That's just a cool record. Sounds phenomenal. I've seen a couple different versions out there. Obviously, it's going to be everywhere this time of year because it's quite popular. Oops. And that sleeve just split open on me. So be careful with that. And actually, why am I even putting it in there? I have a nice inner sleeve from Hudson Hi-Fi. We're just talking about accessories, and that was one of the required ones. And I sometimes keep the original sleeves like this just for, if they're collectible or they have some sort of other additive value to the overall experience, like it's a lyric sheet or something. So, all right. So definitely pick that up. And you might be surprised how much of that album you like. To me, it's one of the few albums that I can say, every song is good. There's not a bad one. I don't skip any of these songs. I remember as a teenager, inevitably the song that I wanted on any particular album would be filled with what I would call, and other people would call, filler music. And so it'd be one or two good songs, and then there'd be a bunch of filler. This album has no filler. Every song is good. If you like one, you like them all. All right, now we're going to step back in time a bit to another iconic voice. I have a couple different versions of this with different covers. This is Columbia CL1195, an artist closely associated with Columbia. This is Johnny Mathis. You can't keep him down. He keeps going. The guy is still singing. I love how it has a personal letter from Johnny right on there. And this is going to be, I think this is a 6i. Let me see. Yep, so this is a Columbia 6i pressing, a good high quality record. And this is another, every song is good. So if you like one, you'll like them all. Oh Holy Night, The First Noel, Silver Bells, Sleigh Ride, The Christmas Song. I got a trivia question. Who can tell me, and it's an answer that may surprise you, what movie originated the song Silver Bells? Now, anybody can look it up on Wikipedia or AI now, but if you know it, if you know it off the top of your head, I'd be curious. Let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, this is great music. You can wear this out. It's another one that you will find everywhere because it's mass produced and everybody had a copy. So I've seen this multiple times pop up at thrift stores, and you will probably wear out your copy as well. I've got two, like I said, two different variants. All right, we are down to the final two. And for the next one, we go to Fantasy Records. And what do you think of when you think of Fantasy Records? For me, it's always Charlie Brown. And sure enough, a Charlie Brown Christmas. An interesting special. Whereas the Rankin Bass shows were often noted because of their visual developments and storytelling, Charlie Brown productions, specifically the Christmas one, especially I should say, were really all about the music. The music was the star, and the story sort of was, fitted around the musical through line. And as such, they make fantastic, fantastic albums. I have a number of different Charlie Brown albums. Now, the secret sauce behind Charlie Brown music is, of course, Vince Guaraldi, jazz trio, a fantastic, fantastic musical artist in their own right. But the music is so closely associated, rightfully so now, with Charlie Brown. This, again, you'll see, you go to your Walmart, your Target, you will see this in some form or fashion. I have this green translucent pressing with a little bit of a splatter. There's some dark elements in there. There is another prominent YouTuber, contemporary of mine, that states that his preference is black vinyl records and doesn't care at all about, colored records. It's just not interesting to him, which is fascinating to me. And, whatever, it's his opinion. For me, though, I am a polar opposite. I absolutely adore custom pressings, colored pressings. I even love picture discs, even though that's not the cool thing to love. I listen to my picture discs and I enjoy them and they sound good to me. So each to his own. But I love special, unique pressings because it's another further step away from streaming audio that's impersonal and you don't own it. It's something special. If you get a splatter record, that is a one-of-a-kind disc. No other splatter record, even if they're doing a run of them, is going to look exactly like yours. It's like a fingerprint. It's going to be completely unique. And but just having a more tactile interaction with your media, having an experience that is custom and allows you to slow down and enjoy the moment is huge. So this is a solid number 2. Now, I hearkened back and alluded to the hat earlier and what it might signify. No big surprise. It's probably going to be, maybe on the thumbnail, I don't know. My number 1 record has been, and probably always will be, a classic. And it's such an important and impactful album that it gets its own show usually every year on this channel, and this year is no different. Something interesting has happened in the world of Bing Crosby's Merry Christmas. If I had to go to a desert island with one Christmas record, this would be the one I would take. It's an all-time favorite. It's got sentimental value for me. I remember as a kid riding back in the backseat of the car Christmas Eve from our family tradition of going to visit family across town on Christmas Eve and having a cassette tape of this album and listening to it as I looked up in the night sky, tried to see Santa's sleigh, etc. This album, I guess in order to match the effect, I need to have it kind of like that. But in order to do this album justice, it's getting its own show this year again, because I collect this album in all of its variants, and I've added 2 or 3 more formats to the collection this year. One of which is brand new because there is something brewing in the world of Bing Crosby, White Christmas, Merry Christmas. And if you're scratching your head, if you just go over and look at Bing Crosby stuff online right now, his website, you'll see that something is brewing. So we want to take advantage of that and include it in our upcoming video release of the various versions of this album. It's iconic. It's got Silent Night. It's the newer version. It's got Jingle Bells, etc., etc. But I love this from the artwork all the way to the music and the pressing. I've got a couple versions of this LP, and in addition to all the other formats that I'm collecting, and this is the original black and silver Decca release. Obviously, it was propagated over to other MCA releases and more contemporary releases. So we'll do a full show on all the versions of this. We'll talk about where the image came from, the history of the recording, the lost version, all that good stuff. But number 1 is Bing Crosby's Merry Christmas. If you think about this album in hindsight, you may think, oh yeah, that's White Christmas album by Bing Crosby. It's always been Merry Christmas, not White Christmas. But newer versions have actually started calling this the White Christmas album, when it's really the Merry Christmas album. Part of what we'll talk about as well. So that's going to do it. Those are my top 10 favorite record albums. Mrs. Record-ology will be back tomorrow. We have got some incredible things coming your way, including more giveaways, more turntables and stuff. So you're not going to want to miss it. Don't forget to watch every single one of those YouTube videos here, the Vlogmas episodes, but also over on her channel, Rain's Place, because in order to win, you need information or things from each channel's videos that are being posted daily. So there's a lot of fun stuff. Mostly, I wanted to say a huge thank you so much for being there. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas season. We hope we're bringing you some joy. But that's going to do it for this episode of Vlogmas. And we are going to see you very, very soon. In fact, we're going to see you tomorrow. Until then, have a great night.